people tell me they day trade crypto and
It's
that
yo, I tell people that's crazy.
Crypto,
I'm
man.
like, what are you using? How are you day trading crypto?
No.
Like people use charts on crypto. I know you don't grant it. If there's people that's successful, but that group of people is very small. Like day trading crypto is craps. It's rolling dice.
Carl, I tell people that trading crypto is like 10 niggas walking into a dark alley, right? All with money, all about to make money. Then one of them, then they all fight each other to the death. One of them walks out with everybody's money and tells 100 people about it, and they all walk into that alley to do the same thing. Somebody's gonna come out with all the money, but odds are it ain't gonna be you. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's an excellent analogy.
Yeah, and everybody tries to be that dude, and it's just like, listen, man, you know, find something that you researched, that you like, that you think it has potential for the future, you know, and buy reckless amounts of it. Because if you were trying to do what I was trying to do, Carl, I didn't get into this. I tell people all the time, I didn't get into this to make, because I got people all the time who are like, why don't you sell? You need to sell, take out, you know, you've already changed your life. I'm like, I didn't get into this to make $10,000. I didn't get into this to make $100,000. I didn't even get into this to make $1 million. All right. I got into this to make generational wealth. And so I put in a reckless amount of money that I don't necessarily recommend someone does, but if this is what you want to do, it's got to be a reckless amount of money. And then I told myself, if it doesn't work out, I hit the reset button. I hit the bankruptcy button and I start over and I go back to being a grinding nigga. But at least I get to wake up knowing that I took my shot. You know, that's the attitude that I took, you know what I mean, when I got into the space. And so, you know, at the end of the day, if that's what you're trying to do, then you got to find something that you're passionate about, that you know, that you have faith in, that you know you're going to survive the ups and downs, and just walk away, man. You know, and let it breathe. The decentralized finance industry alone, like I told you, 1.5 billion over the last 24 hours, man. You know, it's like there's going to be things that are going to skyrocket over the next coming, 6, 12 months, and you're going to make a lot of money. Now you got to decide: am I happy with that amount of money, or did I get into this to retire at an early age? Because if you got into it to retire at an early age, then the decision is simple. You turn off your computer, you stop looking at it, you put it in a cold storage like I did, walk away, and if you want to look at it for fun so you can spike the ball in the end zone, go ahead. But at the end of the day, you're not going to touch it for a couple years to come. And you'll be all right. And you know what, man? If you miss out on your home run and hit a gap double, hey, I'm all right with that too.
I mean, I think that this is excellent advice. I don't think you could have said it any better than what you did. Real talk, like it's real
we
talk.
Talked about this.
You know what it is, like,
yeah.
Yo, and I tell people all the time, like, where we come from, you got to understand, like, certain people, and especially when you're reading like these books or you're studying these things and you're reading about, these conservative approaches. And don't get me wrong, like, everybody's different. And, you read about these traditional conservative, safer approaches to finance. These things work. Yes, they do work. But the issue is that we working with a different timetable and we working with a different starting point. So, like, if you coming into, if you're growing up, you have wealth that was inherited, you're inheriting some portfolio positions and things like that. You could kind of take a lot of these, conservative, Dave Ramsey, all them Susie Orman fucking steps type shit. And that shit will work to maintain, the pattern of generational wealth that you were inherently born into. And that generational wealth is in different dynamics. It may not be, I'm not saying you got 5 million handed down to you, but you seen as soon as the pandemic hit, all these white people ran out to their family place in New Hampshire, or the family lot in Martha's Vineyard and shit like that. They still have properties, they still have shit, set up like that. So for me, my whole thought pattern to this, like, just in life in general, was like, I gotta take extra risks because nigga, I gotta catch up. So I got to take certain risks that to get that type of upside, because I'm not going to get there to that level following, these quote unquote traditional, paths.
I call them boomer investments. You know what I mean? They're boomer investments. And the fact of the matter is, you're talking about, everybody loves to talk about social justice and the systemic system and this and that. Listen, man, I'm not trying to focus on changing the system. I'm trying to focus on trying to figure out what the best move I can make within the system. And I think you're 100% right, is that, those traditional forms of investments are for people whose generation before them took that home run swing and connected. You know what I mean?
Like, to quote you from before, they took that baton. These are people who were handed the baton and they're carrying it.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's what we're trying to do for our kids. We trying to give our kids a baton. That's what the whole point is. We trying to catch up, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. But we demonize the people who are handing off the baton instead of focusing on how can we gain a baton to hand it off to our generation. Yo, you got a kid now. You know what I'm saying?
Shit is different, dog. Yo, I tell people all the time, one of the biggest problems with a lot of minority communities is that, like, niggas champion struggle. So, like, niggas want to be like, yo, I got it. Niggas came up out the mud. Like, dog, like, fuck all that, nigga. I don't want my son coming up out the mud. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, call him that silver spoon nigga. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why people associate a validity of success with, the proximity to struggle. Like, how much did he have to... Nigga, fuck that. If a dude is good at something, they good at something. And I'm not going to be mad if his father was good at something and he taught him... If the dude is a second-generation basketball player, he grew up wealthy and he's been, trained to be a basketball player, nigga, I'm not going to be mad at that. Like, nigga, he was born to do it. You see shit happen with, like, people like... You see it all the time with athletes, but you see it all the time with life. Yeah. Doctors make doctors, lawyers make lawyers, fucking traders make traders, fucking athletes make athletes, entertainers make entertainers. Like, it happens all the time. So, again, people focus on the wrong shit. Like, just get this bag, son.
Yeah, and that's what you and Elgin and Dutch were doing with the Cryptology podcast. You were trying to provide an avenue where people of color could enter an arena that, by being naturally unregulated, really allowed you to move around and take risks that are not available in certain markets, man. The equities game is already... Listen, the equities game is you fighting for scraps off the table.
That's a fact. I tell dudes all the time. I tell dudes in options game, I'm like, nigga, we are mice just eating crumbs.
That's right.
The real niggas...
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, because the crumbs is good enough. The crumbs for them is bread for me. That's a crumb for him, but that's a whole loaf of bread for me.
That's right. But crypto, to this day, until it gets regulated, and listen, regulation is coming, and regulation is good for niggas like me. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm already a whale. Technically, I am.
You top 1% link holder. You're a whale. You're 100% a whale. If you liquidate your position, the price of Chainlink will change.
I tank the market. Yes. In fact, I would be very curious to see what would happen if I were to try to liquidate my position all at once in a small exchange. Somewhere like Coinbase, they probably have enough. But sometimes I wonder too, did you know that only about slightly above 5% of the total circulating supply is available right now? Like, the rest of the supply is already locked up in nodes or not in exchanges. So, it's like...
Speak to that real quick. When you mean locked up in nodes, who owns those nodes? Yeah. What's that about?
So right now, nodes are mainly ran by institutional money. So companies like Google, companies like Oracle, and certain specific node operating companies are essentially buying up Chainlink, setting up nodes, which are essentially systems within the Oracle network in order to run smart contract data queries, right?
And I'm sure, like people being like a Google being a node, being one of the nodes is definitely, you know, it's strategic in, you know, some of the people who will know.
Binance has a node. And so all these people run nodes. Google runs a node because they want to connect to Google Cloud, right? So think about how Google works. Like Google's being real smart. They're like, we're going to run a node and we're going to connect it directly to our Google Cloud where all the data is. So they have easy access to it. And so the idea is that these node operators are going to participate in the system. And why this is important is because your Chainlink is used as collateral. Every token is used as collateral in a contract. So when a contract is entered, a certain amount of Chainlink needs to be put into that contract and locked up to ensure the contract. That's the collateral. And so now that Chainlink is unavailable and not to be bought in exchanges. And so now when the contract is executed, then the collateral is returned back to the node operator, and then the node operator is paid in Chainlink by the parties of the contract. And so Chainlink actually provides for an opportunity for passive income. That's why I'm never going to liquidate more than maybe 15 or 20% of my position, because as a Link whale, I want to be able to have the opportunity to run my own node. I'll teach myself code if I have to, or I can participate in a Link pool, which is something that I have my eye on. I wouldn't participate right away because I want to see it run, and I want to make sure that my Link is safe. But they're essentially node operators who will take your Link, run the node for you, and then they will give you your passive income. They'll give you all your profits as a result of you being paid in Link, and then they keep a fraction. They keep like 10, 15% or whatever it is.
So right now, what's the process to becoming an actual node holder?
A node operator?
Yeah.
I really don't know, Carl, to be honest with you, because I'm not necessarily involved in that side of the project.
This doesn't seem like something that's open to everyone. Like it feels like something.
Not right now, Carl. But that's the Moby bit. So people all the time. The main question I get all the time is it too late to invest in Chainlink? Like, did I miss the boat? And the answer is, until staking is not made public, you have not missed the boat, because staking is the process by which anyone who holds Link can participate in the system. Right now, not just anyone can participate in the system, but as staking is released, anyone can participate in the system. And when that is announced, I guarantee you, Carl, there's going to be a speculation process that starts to take place as to how much passive income can be generated by one token. And when that happens, people are going to gold rush this thing even more than it is now. And that's when I think you can really start seeing the valuations of like $500 or $1,000 per Link, because people are going to be rushing to buying these tokens. Because if put it to you like this, Tezos right now have staking in the sense of it's not real staking. Tezos staking that's available on Coinbase is more like a savings account, where you get 5% of your annual holdings, on Coinbase. So if you hold, 100,000 Tezos on Coinbase, in a year you'll be able to make 5,000 Tezos. And so if you make 5,000 Tezos and it's worth $4 a Tezo, now you've made $2,000. Which is nothing to scuff at, right?
Yeah.
But if you're talking about Chainlink, right? If someone who holds $1 million worth of Chainlink is offered that opportunity at 5%, you're talking about approximately approximately $300,000 in passive income annually. You can live off of that. and that's the fourth and